All right. G'day. My name's Rue. I'm a guitarist here in Nashville, Tennessee. I want to talk just a little bit about the harsh reality of living in Nashville, right? The truth behind it, for me, as it relates to me and my experiences. I can't speak for anyone else. I'm in a different position to everyone, as everyone is in a different position to me. A lot of people have talked about this. My good friend Nikki V. Hines did a great video on this, and I encourage you to watch that and then watch this as well, because it's going to relate differently and you can gain different perspectives that allow you to see things differently. Ultimately, I think a lot of people see Nashville as a singular cell organism and one thing. They think you move here and you do this. Oh, I'm going to move here, play Broadway, get on the road, and then I'll become a session musician. They move here with a plan. I'm going to tell you, I don't know if that's a good idea. I moved here with a plan and it hasn't worked out. I moved here with hopes and aspirations that when I achieved them, I realized, wow, I don't want this and I don't care about this. In fact, I want to do my thing. And allowing myself to compartmentalize work from my thing has been an incredibly freeing and beautiful experience, and allows me to talk about what living in Nashville is like without becoming one of these jaded guys who are often in comment sections going, oh, well, in Nashville you have to do this and do this. You have to pay to play on Broadway. Like, no, dude. 2,700 gigs down there. I ain't paying anything. So a quick backstory. I moved to Nashville 5 years ago. I had just finished college and decided, you know what, I'm going to go give Nashville a fair shot because it seems like the city for me. I was deadly obsessed with the Don Kelly Band. I had done a lot of research as to the players in town, who was what, who does what. And I moved here, arguably the single worst player who's ever moved to Nashville. I knew all my scales, all my arpeggios, all my triads, all that, but I had never really learned a song. I didn't know who Alan Jackson was. I knew all the swing guys, and I knew a lot of random stuff, but I had no clue about any of that. I had my first gig within 24 hours, and basically, for the next 5 years, everyone was like, man, great guy, very nice, very easy to get along with. Smiles, nod, very polite, very excited. But what a horrible musician. But because I worked really hard to turn that around, people gave me second chances. This didn't happen without a lot of tears and character building and grit occurring. But I want to explain a bit about this. The thing about Nashville is, no matter how good you are when you move here, you could be, bar maybe being the best guitarist of all time ever in the world. Actually, no, barring that, yeah, because Hendrix lived here. And that's true. Hendrix lived and played in Nashville on the Chitlin circuit. That's a very fun fact. People often forget that he lived in Nashville. You need to worry about who you are and your attitude. Let's take someone like Brent Mason. I've been fortunate enough to sit next to Brent Mason. I can't tell you how scary that is. When you hear that guy just do even one note, you know he's in the zone. Everything's perfectly placed, everything's in time, everything's in tune, and everything fits the song. But the thing about Brent is Brent's the nicest cat. He's fun to hang out with, he's hilarious. From the first time I met him to the next, he remembered my name. I was telling him like, oh, it's my 1 year anniversary with my now wife, my girlfriend. We're going to Key West. And he was like, oh man, I love Key West. You got to eat here, go here and do this and do this. And I was like, okay, cool. And when I saw him 3 months later, he goes, man, did you go to Louis' backyard? Isn't that place unreal? Did you go to the mansion by the sea? And I was like, damn, like, that feels so validating and incredible to be seen like that, right? The thing is, your attitude in this town will get you so much further than you're playing. There are so many incredible players here. Like, it's so silly. You could start naming, like, the top guys in town and then go to the next list, and they're just as good. It's just maybe these guys have more visibility or in a different job or doing something else. You know what I mean? There's so many truly mind-blowing musicians in this town for every instrument. I mean, we've got cats like Gordon Mote. Like, Rory Hoffman, who plays every instrument better than everyone. I think a lot of people think it's purely their playing that's going to get them the gig. And while you do have to rely on confidence in your ability to play and perform well, learn tunes, show up and have good tone and be in time and work on those things, a big part of it is your attitude and making sure you fit in with people. I think a lot of people move to Nashville and expect one thing. Like, I thought I was going to move here and would want a really big kind of more commercial country gig like what's going on now. And then I realized, well, that's not really my thing. Maybe I prefer the indie scene or like a Sturgill style gig where it's like less tracks and more band and a bit jammy and a bit more loose, you know, a musician's kind of gig. But that took a lot of work to get to that point to realize what I wanted and what I needed, right? The thing about Nashville is when you move here, no one's going to do the work for you. And I think this is part of the biggest reason that people fail. People move here with a sense of entitlement towards wanting or needing a gig. And, you know, I've had some guys who've texted me for years like, hey man, how do I get a gig on Broadway? And I'm like, man, same thing I told you last time. Go down, shake hands. Hey man, how do I get a touring gig? Well, are you meeting the touring guys? Are you letting them know you're available? Are you showing that you're good enough to do it? Man, how do I get session work? I don't know about that one. That's you would be best watching Jed Hughes, Tom Bukovac, Justin Ostrander's kind of channels to learn about that thing. They have a wealth, a repository, an archive of information about this thing. What I can provide is my perspective. Thing about Nashville is I've lost as many gigs as I've gained. I've experienced the highest highs and the lowest lows. I have the tied record for the most gigs on Broadway in a week, 23, with Tyler Cannon, who Tyler Cannon has done the most Broadway gigs in a year and the most gigs of anyone I've ever met. It's crazy. He's done years of like 700-800 gigs. I capped at 7 something in a year, and that's like 2 gigs a day, and it was just like silly, man. It was just silly. Thing about Nashville is you have to be ready to work, and you have to put in the time, and you have to put yourself out there to get the work. Again, if I don't have gigs this in a given week, I'm sending 70 to 100 texts. Hey man, I'm free this week if you need me. Here are the slots I'm available, and here's when I'm able to. When I don't have a regular gig, I'm calling, texting around, I'm finding people. When I'm taking road gigs, I'm considering stuff. It's all about making sure that you can stay afloat, but you have to do it by your own means. It's really fantastic that you might be this mind-blowing player, but if people don't want to be on stage with you, or if people don't know that you're not busy, they're probably not going to call you. I've seen some really great players run themselves out of town just by virtue of like arrogance and like, oh, I'm not doing Broadway, I'm better than that. I'm like, man, it's a gig. A gig is a gig is a gig, right? I personally don't look down or up on people on anything. We all have to be multifaceted to make ends meet, right? I build guitars, I repair amps, I repair pedals. I teach lessons, I play on Broadway, I go on the road, I do some sessions. I try and do everything. I want to experience everything, but also I want to pay my bills. It's very hard now to just be a player. But it's still possible, but it's very hard because the world is ever changing, right? Rent in Nashville. I was lucky in a situation where I lived with a friend who owned a house. He charged me $400 and I lived there for 3 years. You're watching this, Jacob. Thank you. That was truly life-changing at the time. It helped me and allowed me to do so much. I'm on a visa, so that's an expense for me every few years that I have to deal with. But my rent was $400 when I lived with Jacob, and now I'm with my wife. It's double that, and that's about average. In Nashville, you're probably going to pay anywhere from $800 to $1,200 more if you want to live alone, more if you want to live close to downtown or in the city, or if you want to go live in somewhere like Franklin. How much do you earn on gigs? The average road gig pay is about $250 for the starting level. Salary, I'm not sure. I've heard mixed numbers anywhere from $50,000 to $250,000. I've heard that Some big gigs, when you sub on them, only pay $750, or some pay $1,500 a gig, or some pay $5,000 a gig, etc. It's all dependent. On Broadway, I can tell you this: you can easily make $1,000 a week if you're a good player with a good attitude and good spirits. The good attitude thing I keep mentioning. Let's talk about that. I'm sorry, I'm a bit sniffly because it's sudden weather changes in Nashville. It's been a nightmare, innit? I love playing music. And I really love playing music with other people. What I don't love is when you've had about a year of telling someone like, man, I really would love if you learnt this tune properly. Hey man, I'd really love you to check this out. Hey man, your attitude's like, you're kind of bummed and like negative, man. Like let's have fun. People will always pick the cat who's easy to work with over the cat who can play circles around anyone. Making yourself as easy to work with as possible is just huge. There are some guys I've met, right? When I moved to town, I was like, but he's not actually a good player. Like his time is all over the place. He rushes, he slows down. They're playing every song 20 BPM too fast. But you know what? Single greatest human I've ever met. Can't help but love him. So you want to be on stage from, right? That's the thing about this stuff. Now there is levels to that. You know, you're not going to get hired on the Steely Dan gig for being the best hang and not a good player. But you might on Broadway. You might on some road gigs, right? People are going to hire their friends and the people they love before they hire the best musicians ever. And that's a really big thing. Making sure you have a good handshake, making sure you're easy to work with, losing the ego and accepting that this city is further along than you are is huge. There's a story of a really famous drummer who moved here, and he's like one of the best drummers ever. And he was like, well, I want to get session work. And everyone was like, okay, well, who are you? And he's like, well, I've done this, this, and this, and this, and this. And it was like huge names, like Grammy award winning stuff. And people are like, okay, but we've been here and you haven't. And his attitude was so poor that everyone was like, you know what? No, not going to hire him because he thinks he knows better. And when we tell him what we want, he's like, nah, let me do this. This is better. People don't want that. You know what singers and fronts want, I think? I think they want you to say yes. I have this regular gig, Nathan Wilson. I've played with Nathan he just moved to town 4 years ago. I've been here 5, so probably 4 years. I've been let go from the gig and I've gained it back, right? And in January, he's like, I love you. You're my favorite player, blah, blah, blah. I need you to sing more or I got to hire someone else. Sorry. I just need someone who can sing like way more in the set. So I said, okay, great. Put me on 1 gig a week out of the 3. And he kept doing that. And so I came back next week and sang 2 songs, and then 4, and then 6, and then 10. And then one day, hey guys, I got a double tomorrow. You'll handle more vocal duties? Sure. And we did it. I did what was asked of me and it kept me the gig. Instead of letting myself go, well, I'm embarrassed to sing. And, well, I didn't move here to sing. I allowed myself to learn something and attempt something I hadn't before that has made me a better musician. It's very hard as a musician to maintain and keep a humble attitude because we all just want to be better and some of us want to be the best at certain things. And that can be really difficult. But the thing is, up until a certain degree, people aren't worried about the best. People are worried about things going as smoothly as possible. And if you're spoke in like a I don't know the term, you know. If you're like a kink in the chain or whatever, you are only stopping the process of a smooth line occurring. You just want to go with that. You know what I mean? You want to be as easy to work with as possible. You know, I've met these people who are just these mind-blowing players, but their attitude is so piss poor that it's like, well, I just don't even want to be around you, no matter how good you are. There's no point, because all you're going to do is complain and oh, this guy didn't hire me back. And it's like, well, no, he didn't, because you told him his music sucks. Why would he want to work with you? Like, come on, man, think about it. Look, I've had this talk a lot recently. I've hit 5 years. I moved here thinking I was going to do the big gig thing. And then as I've gotten further and further and further into Nashville, I've gone, well, I don't know what I want. Do I want to be an artist? Do I want to be a sideman? I don't think I want to define what I want to be, but if I had to, I love being a sideman. I love playing other people's music. I love playing with good musicians, good bands. But as an artist, I'm starting the first session for my album tonight, and we've got a year to work on it. I've got unlimited time. I'm doing a kind of, Daniel Lanois, David Torn, Ben Monder inspired jazz album, ambient and all that rubbish. But that's my music for what I want. When I go downtown or when I play for artists, I am a sideman. I work to make them sound better and make sure it's known that I work for them and I work in service of their music. This is another thing. You have to be in service to the music. I spent a long time trying to chase the Guitar Hero thing and then realizing that, like, you know what? Even when there are the Guitar Heroes downtown, they're still in service to the gig they're on. And that really got me thinking. Nashville, networking. I don't network. I don't like that term. I think it's stupid. Sounds like something you do when you put on a suit and go shake someone's hand and pretend to talk to them so you can get a better deal on your trade import for your steel that you need to make corrugated iron doors for luxury Manhattan apartments. I'm not into it. I like making friends and I like meeting people and I like getting to know people. Again, I hung out with Seth Cook this morning, who, Seth and I have known each other for a while, but we've never properly met. And man, what I thought was going to be an hour was 3 hours, 3.5 hours of us just being like, just chatting it up and talking and getting deep. And it was so fantastic to connect with him. I find him such an inspiring person. But he's a mind-blowing musician. Drums, bass, guitar, keys, all of it. He can do it all, producer, everything. But he's a great human being, first and foremost. And it's great that we love music and we play music and we do all this. But first and foremost, I love spending time with him and I'm so excited for our friendship to blossom and grow. Now, I'm going to link his video in the description because he started a YouTube channel and I'm stoked to see what comes out of that. But man, I know this is just kind of another ruse rant in D minor or whatever, but this has been on my mind a lot. A lot of people ask, like, should I move to Nashville? Yes, you should. And I think you should take the plunge. And I think you should take the plunge and expect your plan to fail and then for all to be snafu. Situation normal, all fucked up. My dad loves that saying. God, he rides that saying into the ground. How's it going? Snafu, mate. Yeah, I don't know if you'll watch this, but love you, mate, and love you, mum, too. Has to be said. And if you're not calling your parents while you're in Nashville like every other day, like, dude, fuck no. Look, when you move here, your grand plan of what should be will probably turn out to look and be entirely different. But that's the beauty of it. It's like a solo, right? If you're playing over something and listening to a really good player, they just start, they go somewhere you don't expect. But it's amazing. I don't know. That was poor. Wait, hang on. Let's do that properly. But I've been listening to a bit of Hendrix. I need to learn that properly because I just love that. Machine Gun intro, stupid. I saw Adam Rogers playing it. Inspired me. Here's something. Don't lose sight of how much you love music. You've really got to want this. You've really got to love this. This is like the most... I called someone when I lost all my gigs recently due to, someone left a circuit and another person, lied to me and it cost me some work because they were more worried about the business side of things than perhaps the emotional. And I personally think they made a wrong choice and ended a friendship over nothing, but whatever. They do what they do. Again, that's another thing. You have to be prepared. It's not going to be all over. You will lose gigs and you will gain gigs. We'll lose friendships over this stuff and you will gain them. But I called this guy and I was just like, man, I don't know. Like, is it all over? Am I done? He goes, no, you have to rely on the fact that you're a good player, but good hang. And he's like, you're a good person, dude. But he's like, dude, you're asking the universe to allow you to be a musician, like, as a guitar player. That's a crazy thing to ask of the world we live in. So he's like, you really got to, like, pony up and recognize and be ready. Like, you work hard, but he's like, time to work even harder. And I was like, damn, hell yeah. I get the opportunity to work harder. I don't have to work harder or work less. I get the opportunity to work harder. I get the opportunity to share these experiences with you. I get to talk about these things, and I get to be excited to work. So I'm rebuilding a schedule. I'm rediscovering who I am, and in a way, being thrown into the depths of what do I do? Oh God, was the best thing ever. I'm teaching now. If you want lessons, reach out. Teaching, it's fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really learning a lot. But I'm so fortunate in that, like, I'm now on gigs with really great musicians who I love, really fantastic musicians regularly now. Instead of working with people where it's like, yeah, he's good, but doesn't learn the tunes, or like, yeah, he's okay, but he books it, so you got to be nice. I have a really steady flow of great musicians I work with. This is another thing. When you're in Nashville, gigs will come and go. It does not matter who you are. No one is safe from it. I've talked to guys at the top of the game who were like, yeah, just got a call. Gig's over. There was an article last year. Keith Urban's got a new band. His last band had been with him 25 years. That's how it goes, man. You are a gun for hire. You've got to be ready at any point for something to end, and hopefully you can pick something up. And this harkens back to, got to have a good attitude. No one wants to work with a dickhead. So look, this is a random rant. I don't really know where I was going with this, but this is some harsh truths about Nashville. I don't know if they're necessarily harsh, but a lot of people I've talked to kind of want like the sugar-coated version of it. Oh, it's awesome. It's sunny every day. It's like California. And you ride your skateboard to Broadway and every gig's $500. It's like, dude, I've made $1,000 in a gig. It's the most I've made in a gig. 1,000 even. Thank you, Shayna G. I love you. That was a great gig. She's also not called me back because I was underprepared. I was brand new to town and I didn't sing enough. But we're still great friends because I have a great attitude and she's watched me grow over the years. Also, the gig after that, played another gig and made $42. And my parking cost me $20. So, yeah. Yeah, that's how it is. You have to be prepared for the up and down. This isn't a pencil and desk job where you get your salary, you clock in, you clock out. You work as much as you want if you can get the work, or you work as little as you want if you can't get the work. Nashville is going to be what you make of it. And to all the people who are like, should I? Someone messaged me not long ago, should I move here? I don't know. I haven't got a plan. And I was like, just do it. If you watch the channel, man, just do it. I sent you a voice message about this. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You finish college, move here. See what happens. Move here and try your best. That'll make a man out of you more than, well, I'm going to move to Nashville. I'm going to wait 10 years and have a plan. Why not now? If you can now, go now. Get here, get a job at a store and figure it out, man. It'll be awesome and you'll play. There's this mind-blowing local player, Garrett Stoner. He plays 335 into a super and it's like, set to stun. And dude, that guy's pocket and groove, his grease and his playing is unreal. Plays the Opry. But I remember reading a story about him waiting tables when he got to town and then meeting cats and getting to know them. And one of them eventually was like, dude, you need a gig. You're a great player. So it's all different. Derek Wells waited tables and learnt an album a week. Look at that cat now. Derek Wells is like top of the game. Like, dude, he's hardy. 100 number ones, I'm learning his parts all the time. I almost keep a tally sometimes of how many times in a day I'll play a certain player's parts. I think my record is I did nearly a whole gig of Brent Mason parts once, and I sat there and was like, how'd you feel? I was like, I suck at doing the Brent thing. I suck at guitar. You've got to be ready to have great days playing guitar and bad days. You've got to be ready to play with good bands and bad bands. You've got to be ready to grow as a musician, and you've got to be ready to learn. That's what will get you far. If you're positive and willing to learn, you'll always go somewhere in Nashville. Always. So look, I'll leave you with that. I got to get this guitar back to my friend Hunter Strasser. What a beautiful player. I got to take some Dayquil or something. And then tonight I have the first session for my album. So, 12-hour session. Fun. My friend gave me some studio time and we're going to go experiment. It's going to be very silly and fun and great and beautiful and all of the above. But look, there's some real Nashville for you. I hope this helps someone. That's all that matters. All right. A rant in D minor. I love Nashville. I love it here. I feel like I belong. And I ain't leaving for a good while if I do ever. And yeah, perpetually thank you for all the opportunities I've had, good or bad. That's the thing. There's some real talk about my experience in Nashville. Perhaps I'll articulate it better, but for now, the off the cuff thing is real. And that's what people need. I'm not going to sit there and give you a manufactured version of Nashville because that's not been my experience. Mine's been one of self-determination and hustling and grit and dealing with a lot to try and get just that little bit better at music to where someone goes, hey man, you're decent. Cool. It was all worth it. All right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you to everyone who's always supportive and kind to me. I really appreciate it. There's some people who haven't been, but I don't know. Sounds like they are entitled about gigs or something. I don't know. It must suck to have that much negativity and so much of a void in your life. But I hope whatever ails you can be cured, and I hope you find peace and serenity. So yeah, peace, y'all. Be good. Stay safe.